Good morning, everybody. Orange here with another War of the Visions video, and this week in War of the Visions, we are getting some EX upgrades and Master Ability 2s for some of our older favorite units in this game, at least in Sakura's case. A lot of people really like Sakura and are very excited for her EX upgrade, but joining her in that EX upgrade category is Rhaldor, a criminally underrated unit in this game in my opinion. At least I like him a lot, and we're going to look at both those EX upgrades. We're also going to look at the Master Ability 2s for Ayaka, Nash, Ramada, and Michelle. I had to remember them real quick, but let's go ahead and start with the EX upgrades. And I want to jump in to Rhaldor's first. Now, we need to look at stats for Rhaldor, and we're looking to get more HP, more attack, and more defensive if Rhaldor is going to continue to be what he was. Crucially, his attack goes from 354 up to 500. At 500 base, that's pretty good, especially for a unit that is striking damage based. Remember, striking damage is one of the hardest damage types in this game to mitigate against, so he will do even more damage than what it looks like on paper in many cases. His HP, I mean, he gains almost 1500 HP from 3073 to 4497, so a nice jump there. His agility stays the same, wouldn't have minded him catching a little bit more there. His dex and luck get a little bit of a boost, and his defense goes from 12 to 16. So like overall, I think they got most of this right. I would have just liked to see a little more agility from Raldor, because as you'll see when we look at his kit, he's somebody who really needs to close the gap with the enemy to be 100% effective. Now, his Master Ability, he doesn't need to wait for Master Ability 2. He already had his, HP and fire attack buff, and he has 20 defense penetration, so that's already pretty good. If we look at his skills, like what got upgraded with this EX, his fighting spirit skill from his pugilist job gets a big upgrade to pierce and missile resistance plus 15%. Now that might not seem super important, but Raldor is a guy who needs to take damage to be at his full potential. A lot of the moves in his kit require him to get hit a couple of times, and then he will hit back even harder. So any way you can add a little bit more defense to him, I think that's good. Personally, I would have liked to have seen maybe like slash resistance in there, because his base slash resist at only 5 is a little low, and that is concerning for him. Other than that, I think you're going to run that in a lot of cases with Paladin's Blessing if you want more defense and HP, or with his strike counter upgrade that gives him 20 accuracy, or you could go for some agility. So a lot to pick from here. You will probably definitely run Fighting Spirit all the time now. If we continue down, his other ability to get upgraded was his attack I was talking about before. This is the one, it's a striking attack, 210% modifier, but increased by 15% each time he got hit up to plus 75. The deal here was you needed to get hit 5 times to get the full bonus of this damage increase. With the EX upgrade, it will now debuff the target's defense by 20 and is a 100% hit move, and you only need to get hit twice now to get that max modifier upgrade. So this ability became it became ability that is no longer just basic and kind of okay, it's really good. The problem is you gotta be right next to the mobs. This is why Raldor needs to be built as like a high damage bruiser, somebody who can survive that gap close while he gets in there and then unloads on the enemy. A 100% hit chance will make him better against evasion teams. This does help him, it makes him more viable in the current state of the game. Now, his job level 25 ability, Destruction Smashing, great name, is a physical barrier breaker that does damage and then increases his defense by 45. That's crazy. With this buff on, it's only one turn, right? It's only one turn of 45 defense, but it's essentially like if you're playing against a full physical team, he can get a long-ranged attack off that basically gives him like 1 turn's worth of defense sentinel after doing big damage to a target, and maybe breaking their barrier too. The nice thing for Raldor is this is a range 4 move. You can see he kind of suffers for range a little bit. He had his gap closing move earlier, but this will be a little bit better than that, I think, because you get that defense buff, you're ready to get in there and mix it up. So that's Raldor's upgrades. He's a pugilist, which will help his damage a lot, and I think with 100% hit move, you could run him on teams with like Setia, has a high accuracy unit, or Terra if you're trying to fight evasion teams. Throw a King Mont in there, and just hunt physical. I think it would be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to using him. Now, next up, let's talk about the one more people are excited for. That is Sakura. And let's look at Sakura's stats. Okay, with Sakura, you're looking at HP magic. HP goes from 2203 to 3061. That's decent for a mage. Her magic gets a big buff from 342 to 511. This is really going to help Sakura do damage. More base magic is very good. Her agility, she was slow at 59. She's now medium at 62. Nice buff there. She does get a bit of a dexterity and luck. Her defense and spirit stay the same. So kind of a, I'll call it a vanilla stat upgrade for her here. She's just getting some more HP magic and agility. Okay, let's look at what the rest of her upgrade does to bring her into that modern game. Her master ability, again, she already has the HP and light attack buff, and she has 10 defense here. Okay, not the best master ability for a mage, but let's continue. She, as well as Raldor, gets a support ability upgrade. It's from her main job. It previously was Rebel Intention skill upgrade, which this was great. This made Rebel Intention super good. It was also a 12% agility buff. Already, this move was fantastic. It will now give her 40 magic resist penetration. That's a big deal for her. She does a lot of like magic damage. And I don't mean like other types of spirit checking damage. I mean magic damage. So getting that magic resistance penetration here is huge. Then you can mix in, some more magic if you want. You can mix in some spirit and dark resist if you're fighting dark teams. She's a very strong anti-dark and anti-light unit. More on that here in a minute. What else got upgraded? Her Thunder Light. This is her thunder-based magic skill, her best one. And remember, with Sakura, she's a hybrid element class. Technically, she's light element, so she will only be affected. If you're looking at like mono element buffs, light buffs will hit her, but she can do thunder damage, lightning damage. Gosh, why did I call it? I'm gonna have to just start calling it thunder damage once lightning gets into this game, if I'm being honest. Anyway, Thunderbolt. This is the upgraded ability. Previously, this ability did 185% damage in a nice big AoE, and then it debuffed lightning and light resistance for the target. Now it debuffs those resistances first, which is very nice, and it gives her a 20% agility buff for 3 turns. So that's a pretty good upgrade. The debuff will really help it do damage. Then her new job level 25 ability is a magic barrier break that does 220% damage from range 4. That's pretty good. She gets a break, just like Raldor did, to try and just deal with all the barriers in the game. Keep in mind with Sakura, some of the things that make her good. She already has Dispel Courage, right? And you're going to get this Rebel Intention upgrade because you're going to be running this support ability. So you get this upgrade anyway. You can remove Courage. It gives her Spirit Penetration. So with which is one support ability basically, you are getting both Magic Pin and Spirit Pin. That's a big deal. And then this buff right here, Defending Thunder, or whatever it's actually called in Global. This gives her group in a nice big AoE lightning, light, and dark resist 25%. That is so effective against the current meta, which is a lot of lightning, a lot of light, and some dark. This buff is very in the moment good right now. I like Sakura a lot just for this buff, and now she'll also do a lot more damage than she used to, which is a big deal. She also does have 100% hit abilities. They're down here in her Kodadama wielder job. It's this one right here. It's they call it Don't Hesitate on the JP translation. I can't remember what it's called in English. Anyway, she has 100% hit, light, element, magic attack, and her limit break slaughters dark units with a multi-hitter. So I think Sakura is going to be in a good place. If you want to use Sakura, I think a cool use for her could be like as a bait unit in a lightning comp, where you put her in slot 1 and you have like a lightning team backing it up with like lightning buffs. That could be cool. So there's Sakura. Now, we have a couple Master Ability 2s to talk about next. Let's start with Ayaka. Previously, Ayaka's master ability was she got 10% HP and 20% stop resistance. And that's pretty weak. This was definitely a drawback for using Ayaka. Now, her limit break gets an upgrade. More on that in a minute. She gets the HP and wind attack buff for her allies. Awesome. The HP buff stays the same. She picks up 20 AoE resistance, which is huge, and still has 20 stop resistance. If we go look at the limit break upgrade that she's getting, let me put this on the screen here. Note that nothing in this part of it changes. It stays the same. It was already an insanely good skill. Now, she gets to use it twice. Is there another unit in this game that gets 2 uses of their limit break? I don't think there are. This is Ayaka's core skill. It is her best thing. It's been her signature move forever. Getting another cast of that will make her a very, very effective healer. Like, look at the range on this. Look at the AoE. Heals for 310%. Dispel stop. I mean, Agrius is going to be back at some point. So I think that's really cool. You mix in that she's a time mage. I think she's very usable. Anytime you're able to give a unit this elemental buff, it instantly makes him a lot better. I think she's much more usable than she was last week. Now, Nasha's getting her master ability too. Previously, she had HP plus 25%. For a tank, that's pretty good. Now, she gets HP 10% for her ice allies with Berserk resistance 25% for them. Okay, that's kind of weird, but it's an MR1, so it is what it is. HP stays the same. She gets 10 defense, and then critically, she gets 5 initial hate. If you notice something about ice units love to have this initial hate somewhere in their kit. Look at like what they're doing to Agrius later. Look at units like Barret. Hate on ice units, initial hate on ice units is strong, especially if you have like Fryevia's vision card. So I think this is a very good master ability upgrade for Nasha if you want to use her in some like limited formats, that initial hate being the biggest deal in my opinion. Okay, Ramada. Now Ramada is already an MR unit that I've used a lot and I think she's pretty strong. Let's check her out. Previously, increased TP plus 30%, literally worthless, and Pierce Attack 20. Okay, the Pierce Attack 20 was nice, the TP buff sucked. She will get HP plus 10% for her water allies, Paralyze resistance 25% for her water allies. Paralyze is in this game quite a bit in PvP, so that's not worthless. The TP stays worthless. She now gets another 30% attack buff, which is great. Pierce Attack 20 stays the same, and she gets an increased chance to apply Paralyze by 25. That is good for her, because if we go into her kit here, she has, here, I'll have to like find on here, it's right here. She has this move right here, which was EX upgraded for her. It is a piercing attack, 170% damage, piercing, 25% chance to inflict doom, but with the EX upgrade, has a 25% chance to inflict paralyze. That 25% chance now becomes a 50% chance, which if you're hitting a high spirit target and you're running her at high spirit, that could be a very, very high chance of paralyzing. She's kind of like high damage paralyze bot that could be very useful in some like limited cost PvP formats, especially in auto, where the AI is pretty good at like, you just turn off her other skills and let her use it. So that's Ramada, that's a little preview for her. And then we've got Michelle over here, who I'm looking at the wrong page for. Here it is. Now, Michelle is a R rarity unit. Very hard to use except if you're going for like a Toad build. So what's he got? Previously, he had activation time down 750 and plant killer 50. Dude, look out, plants. This is a fire mage. He will light you on fire. Now, he gets 10 agility, 50 more activation time down, and still 50 plant killer. Like, look, if you're playing Miche, however you say it, you're playing him for like this skill right here. Well, he does have reflex, so that's kind of broken. But you play him for this move, Toad Blockage. This has insane range. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 range. It's a 25% chance to inflict Toad, but with the EX upgrade, it decreases spirit and agility for the target for 3 turns as well. Like, this is his thing. This is his move. It's pretty good. He also has a CT down move. Like, in some manual situations where you're really cost limited, what's this dude's cost? 30? So it's pretty cheap to put him into a group. You can try drop Toad on people and have some fun, and that's going to be the video. Personally, I'm most excited for Raldor. I don't think he's going to be like top tier. Let me clear that up right now. But I think he's usable, and I think he'll be fun. I think Sakura is probably going to be better overall. So if you're a fan of her, it's going to be a good day for you. And anyway, I just hope you enjoy any of these old units that you like to play. And yeah, there we go. Have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Peace.